Hello everybody, you are welcome to another episode of Chatting Up the Irish. Tonight I am speaking with Janet Meade, a herbalist from Athlone in Ireland. That is the dead centre of Ireland. She's going to tell us all that Athlone has to offer. We're going to talk about the Baltimore Festival and all the other festivals around Athlone, but we're also going to talk about what she does for a living. As I said, she's a herbalist. She makes and sells her own products, and she's going to tell us what herbs cure what diseases. So hang with us for about 30 minutes. I'm sure you'll enjoy the show. Hello everybody, this is another episode of Chatting Up the Irish. I am delighted to talk to a very old friend of mine who comes from Athlone. Her name is Janet Meade and she is a herbalist. She makes all of her own products that you would use in the home, and she comes from a beautiful part of the country and she's going to tell us all about it. She's involved in an awful lot of different festivals around the place as well, and we're going to talk about that. Janet, it's great to have you on Chatting Up the Irish. How are you?
Brilliant. And you, May? Lovely
I'm
to see
fine.
you.
Yeah, it is good. It's been a long time since we spoke. So,
It
so
is.
first of all, you're from Athlone.
I
You've lived
am.
there. Have you lived there all your life?
I have, yeah, 40, nearly 44 years, yeah.
Oh my God, Janet.
Yes,
And Athlone is really a lovely little town, isn't it? There's a lot
it is.
there.
It's fab in Athlone. We have the Shannon as well, which is the longest river in Ireland. I think it's about 360 kilometres long.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, you know, especially in the summer. There's a lot of viewpoints. We have the castle. There's loads of areas in Athlone. And then Sean's Bar, of course, one
Oh,
of the famous Irish pubs. Yeah.
exactly. Talk about Sean's Bar. Sure, that's the oldest pub in Ireland, isn't it?
Well, they're saying the world or Europe. So, yeah,
There you go.
yes,
Yeah.
there you
And a
go.
lot of people from all over the world want to go to Sean's Bar because of its history.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Yeah.
very popular, especially for the music. You know, but we've been closed down for the last year, so nowhere has really been open. But hopefully someday you get to come over.
I,
Yeah.
is it all right? We won't go there, Janet,
Uh,
because I think myself and yourself have the same views about that.
yes, we
You
do.
know, to say the
Yeah,
least,
but
we're pissed off. But however,
absolutely,
so
absolutely. But
Athlone
I
is in the. Would you say it's the dead centre of Ireland?
it is the centre of Ireland. Yeah,
Oh,
it is. Absolutely. We're right in the Midlands. So it's easy access to everywhere, to Dublin, to Galway, to Cork, we're just
yeah,
right in the centre of it.
yeah, it is. It's
So
great. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lovely little town. Lots of nice kind of heritage walks as well. There's a lovely place in Moat called Duna Sea. And it's a beautiful walk area. It's all been kind of done up by local artists and it's fabulous, so it is. We also have Portlick Millennium Forest, which is just a few kilometres from the town. Beautiful walkways there as well, all
Mhm.
really old trees right beside the lake as well. So
Yeah.
anywhere we kind of go in Athlone, the lake is close by, which is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it is. And of course, you were involved in the Baltimore Festival in the hill of Ushnock. Talk to us
uh,
about that, Janet.
yeah. A couple of times I was just asked to be involved in a ceremony at one stage. So it was all kind of women dressed in white and walking along. But then I was asked as part of there was a group of women. So like there was four herbalists and there was four other women. So they were like the water carriers of the festival, and the herbalists were like the earth carriers. So we were kind of holding space for the festival. So we
Mhm.
spent all day kind of going along the hill from early in the day before the festival started, just doing little ceremonies together as a group. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then we all met up on the hill and kind of stood in different points. So I would have been on the east with another woman from the east side. It was fantastic.
And the
So
light, the fires, all you can see the fires on all the hills all around as well, can't you?
yeah, they reckon I think from at 20 different counties, I think,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware. But it would have been one of the main centres going back millennia, I think like 5 millennia they're talking about as far as the history goes back. Um, so it would have been one of the main meeting places
Yeah.
of the whole country.
Yeah.
There has been talk of even the Egyptians being there.
Really?
Um, apparently so. No, I haven't read too much into that, but I've just heard from people that apparently the Egyptians, I don't know, did they find artifacts or something from it?
Well, I know that
Um,
there's cairns up there, isn't there?
there's Catstone, there's an old ruins of a palace as well. So there seems to have been an awful lot of activity there over generations and
Yeah,
generations. Politically as well, a lot of I think James Joyce, Daniel O'Connell, they would have met there.
yeah.
I think De Valera. So it has a huge
Yeah, and
history to
I
it.
think there was a secret meeting of the 1916 Rising leaders there before
Yes.
Easter week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Apparently there
there's
has
great
been.
history
Yes.
there, isn't there?
There's huge history, and it's a beautiful spot as well. Really,
Yeah,
really nice.
yeah.
Um, apparently, it was the first fire that would be lit of the year.
Hmm.
And then all the other kind of sacred sites around Ireland would continue. They'd light a fire once they could see that one burning.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lovely stories to it, a lot
Yeah,
of
there is, and
history
it's
there.
great. I think it's great that people are continuing the traditions of, past times and kind of showing reverence to it today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that it's not
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
history is not forgotten.
It's not. No, no. People are reviving it, which is great. More
Yeah,
and more people, seem to be turning to the old ways, which is
yeah,
lovely.
it is. Yeah, because there's an awful lot. It's like kind of like herbalism, Janet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an awful lot of good to be. I mean, that's God put um everything in the earth to help the body heal. There's not a
Yeah,
disease out there that there's not a cure for. So,
absolutely.
when did you start your interest in herbalism?
Gosh. Um, I always had a little bit of an interest. Sorry, I'm after dropping something there. But I've always had an interest. But when I was pregnant with my first son, he's 22 now. I remember at the time they were giving us these iron tablets, which made my stomach very sick. So a friend had given me this. It was called Natural Home Pharmacy book. So I kind of was reading through that and getting tips from it, and I started taking Nettle tincture
Oh, yeah.
instead of actually the iron tablets.
Well, you know
Um,
something, Janet, that you say that because my grandmother, God rest her soul, she'd go out in the spring and she'd cut the young nettles and she'd put them into her cabbage.
really,
Yeah, and there was always dandelions. She used to use dandelions. There was all these things that she used to use. And if we got a boil,
yeah,
there was stuff that she'd take out of the land and she'd put
yeah,
it into a, what do you call it? Um,
like a poultice.
Poultice,
That
and it
could
would
be
grow.
plantain.
Yeah,
That could be the plantain. That grows everywhere, so it does. It's
yeah,
fantastic. It draws stuff out.
yeah,
Plantain does.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's when I would have initially started an interest, but I never really trained in it. I kind of just, use books as references to see what I could use for myself or the kids. And then in 2013, then after I had my daughter, I had her December 2012. So 2013, then I actually started training in herbal medicine
yeah,
because I spent so many years looking and saying, God, I'd love to know how to actually work with what's around me,
yeah,
to fully understand it. And since then, I've just fallen in love with it. My
yeah.
whole lifestyle has changed with regards to using chemicals in the home. I
Yeah.
make my own cleaning stuff, and we don't buy any chemicals in. Rarely need a doctor unless the kids have a fall and you need an X-ray. I treat as much as I can at home, and I grow a lot of some medicine in my own garden as well.
Good woman, do you?
Yeah, so I'm trying to grow as much as I can in my garden,
Brilliant.
because at least I know it's completely organic then and
Exactly.
unsprayed. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's an amazing, amazing journey.
It is. Yeah, I'd
Absolutely.
imagine so. I'd imagine, and when you can see that it's working as well, it must be. And would you make all sorts of moisturizer and things like that for the
Yes, I
skin?
do. I do face creams. Um, as I said, my whole life has been changed by this. So anything I can make for myself, my kids, my family, that's what I do. And people just wanted to start buying from me then. So I do
And
toothpaste.
have you anything there that you can show whoever's
Yeah,
watching?
I have. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah, up
Don't
a
know.
bit. Yeah,
Up a little bit, yeah.
yeah.
So that's face cream.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's made with rose, yarrow, and hawthorn, and it's all herbs that I've gathered myself. All organic oils then. Um, so, and I do toothpaste as well.
Good
deodorant,
woman.
anything may really, do you
Yeah.
know,
And would you
whatever
sell
comes
those
to mind.
online, Janet? If anybody wanted to buy them online, I would advise. Actually, a unique gift for anybody. If you're looking for a unique gift, you could say number one, it's from Ireland, and number two, it could be a package of some of your items. You
Yeah,
could you could
absolutely.
make a kind of a package out of it,
Yeah.
and you could buy it online from Janet. How would people reach you, Janet?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't have a website. I'm still trying to figure out the whole tech side of things, but Facebook and Instagram, anyway, is mainly what I use. And
Yeah,
a lot of people would request a product and price list, and I can email that to them then.
brilliant.
So,
So how long
and
would
it
it
should.
take you to make something like that now, that moisturizer? What would you
So,
do? Well, you don't need to give us away your secrets, but like,
yeah, but the face cream, because for a cream to be made, it has to be a mix of oil and water. So that's your basis. So I would make a herb tea. That's my water part of it, and I'd have an oil has been infused in herbs for 3 to 5 days. So then the actual process, I normally kind of keep the oil stored. That will do me whenever I need it because a lot of people buy the cream, so I'm constantly making it. And I make an overnight tea. Then I have to blitz them all together with beeswax and the essential oils that I use. So the process itself can take 2 to 3 days
okay,
just to make a batch. That's to make like 8 of them in a
yeah.
batch. Yeah,
And
yeah.
would you
But
would you make to order? Let's say if I wanted such and such a thing with such and such a herb, would you be able to do it?
it
Or
depends on
would
if
you
I had the
advise
herb in
people?
stock.
Like, would you advise people?
Absolutely, yeah. I do consultations, May. I do online consultations. I do over the phone consultations. Um, so people, we can do it over the phone, and I'd sit down and go through their body system. So it can take about an hour to do that.
Wow.
So what we do as herbalists, we don't just treat the symptoms. We look for the root cause.
Yeah.
So that's when we can see, okay, you're lacking in this area of the body, or you need a little bit more of this, and then we'll determine then what herbs that body actually needs. So it's individually based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. I remember you telling me ages and ages ago. I remember we were talking about Athenry Island, and you were saying that you
Mm,
used to visit the deserted village, and
yes.
you mentioned to me about the amount of herbs that are there that seem to be unique to that place.
Yes, there was. I was only actually studying herbal medicine, I think 2 years. I'm nearly 9 years now at it. So I think I was my second year. So I was still trying to learn. I was taking photos and bringing them to my teacher and saying, "What's this?" But I found loads of wild mint, which I hadn't seen any around, say, in Athlone. I haven't seen wild mint until last year. I actually found a little bit by the river.
Brilliant.
But Achill had it was just any amount of wild mint. What else did I find up there? Obviously, your nettles, comfrey, herbs like that, but the mint was just on the side of the road. That was all that I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that let's say like Key Forest Park now, I go walking in it on
Mm.
when I was living at home, I could bring the dogs for a walk, and I don't know whether it's herbs or whether it's weeds, but it smelled like garlic. It was like wild garlic
Probably was.
with a white flower at the top.
Oh yeah, that could be the wild garlic. Yeah, the wild garlic does have a little flower at the top. It's kind
Yeah.
of like a little star. That's the only
Yes,
way I can
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
describe it. Yeah,
yeah,
and if it smells like wild garlic, it's just like a leaf. It's
yeah.
it's It's like a big grass leaf. We actually picked some last week here in Athlone. We have another little ancient site here with a megalithic tomb. And every year the wild garlic is just all over that place. It's fantastic, lovely little walkway.
And what would you do with that?
I make pesto of it.
Really?
I made so we made a wild garlic, nettle, and chive pesto the other day.
Oh, wow.
Just blitzed it up. I got the chives and nettle from my garden, and the wild garlic. Blitzed it up, some olive oil, some Parmesan cheese, bit of salt and pepper, and that was it. Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
And
yeah.
would you have a big garden? Would you have kind of would you sow stuff all year round, or do you only kind of have springtime?
No, I have, well, whatever it will grow, you know yourself with Ireland, most things will die off in winter anyways. We wouldn't have a whole lot of crop. So what I do is I have a nettle patch. I leave the dandelions to grow because they're just full of nutrients. I have plantains, so anything that grows wild, I kind of leave it. So there's an awful lot of herbs that are just popping up everywhere, and I plant in between them. So I have like comfrey, lavender, rosemary, lemon balm, St. John's wort, mugwort, lady's mantle, marshmallow. I actually make a marshmallow hand balm out of the marshmallow from my garden as well.
Wow.
So I've loads, whatever I can fit in between. It's only a small little garden. It's only about maybe 10, 12 foot.
But still, you're getting an awful lot out of it, though, Janet.
Loads, and I've started veg as well.
Good
So I have
woman,
veg.
it's brilliant,
Yeah,
isn't it? So you
yeah. So
literally you don't need to buy any of this stuff from the shop.
no, no. If I don't grow something here, I'll go out and forage for it. So
Yeah.
I'll find some elderberries. I make a lot of elderberry syrup. It's really good, high vitamin C for children for coughs, colds, and flus. So I'll gather that and I'll freeze it. The same with rose hips; they're packed full of vitamin C. So I'll gather them at the season, which is normally around September, I think, and I'll freeze a bag of them to do me for the year as well. So
Yeah,
anything that won't kind of last, that will die off, I'll freeze what I can,
absolutely.
and that will keep me going. Yeah.
Of course, you've got your blackberries and gooseberries, and you get those on the side of the road. I mean,
Yeah, same with the elderberry, same with hawthorn. One of the
yeah.
most amazing plants going for heart issues and for circulation.
See, I
So
yeah, I think that especially with what's going on now, if people were educated into looking after their immune system and
yes,
told that if they build it up with vitamin D3, zinc, and
yes,
vitamin C, and whatever else is needed,
yes.
I don't think people would they wouldn't even suffer badly from the flu or the cold.
No,
Your
no,
immune system is created to protect you from all sorts of outside attacks. And if you
absolutely.
keep your immune system in good nick, I think you don't have to worry too much about things. And
Well,
if you
that's
eat
it.
proper food and if you look after your body and
Yes, that's it. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's just people need to be educated more in that, and there is a plant for everything, absolutely everything, whether people believe it or not,
yeah,
and there's the science behind it as well. I have a lot of people saying, you're not a scientist. No, I'm not, but we have to understand the science, and we have to understand illness to be able to help people through it, and we have to
yeah,
understand medication as well.
yeah,
So if someone
yeah,
comes to me on medication, I'd have to know, well, this herb I can't give them while they're on that medication. So
yes, yeah,
there's a lot we have to understand.
yeah,
It's not just airy fairy flying out in the forest picking up herbs. It's
yeah,
all, there's a lot to it. But it's really, like even people that come to me as well, they can't believe how well they feel, because it's about them taking responsibility for their own health as well. I can only,
absolutely, yeah,
yeah, I can only help a certain amount by doing their formula and trying to figure out, where they're lacking.
yeah.
But it's personal responsibility all the way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because it's like,
Mm.
the body can be allergic to certain things as well. And if you don't know what you're allergic to, I knew a man once and he had put on an awful lot of weight, but he was actually allergic to gluten or wheat or something.
Yeah.
And when he
Yeah.
realized that, when he went to somebody and got his bloods checked for his allergies, and he
Yeah.
realized that, he could take it into his own hands then to do something about his health. And he actually
Uh,
lost an awful lot of
yeah.
weight simply
And he
because he wasn't putting that into his body anymore.
and he probably felt great as well. Probably a whole
Oh
lot
God,
better
yeah.
in himself.
Yeah,
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's hugely
absolutely.
empowering. And it's important to teach people. I'll be doing over the next few weeks. I'll be doing a wild herb tea trail here in Athlone.
What will that,
Um,
what will happen
that will
there?
be showing people just local herbs that are grown. So we'll go to a local area that's a nice nature area, and we'll just go for a walk. And whatever I see, I'll stop and I'll explain the materia medica, or the medicine, the properties of it, the uses of the plant, metaphysical properties, because they're all an energy as well. They're like
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
And they give us energy and feed us with good energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we'll pick a few little bits along the way and make a tea wherever we are. I'll show them how to make a wild herb tea. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll be doing.
And
Yeah.
you would be, of course, you probably would be able to distinguish between mushrooms as well, wouldn't you?
Not really. No, I haven't really. I'm only starting to get into that now. I have a friend who's going to show me what's what with them. No, I haven't really.
Really? Okay.
Mushrooms, no, just the herbs now, more
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you do anything with tree sap or anything like that? You know, like any
No,
sap?
but I saw an interesting post last week of a guy getting birch sap. So I found that interesting. I'm not really sure. Is it full of nutrients? So that's another whole new area. Like the
Yeah.
world is huge, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's just that why I'm thinking about that is because I went out to a forest there a while back, and they were bleeding there were maple trees. And
Ah,
yeah, and I saw how they were doing this with the maple.
yes,
And it
right.
dawned on me, I wonder, it just kind of crossed my mind, well, if you can do that with maple trees, I wonder, is there anything in other trees that you could
Yeah.
either use as food or use as medicine?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, I think this guy was saying he was going to make a birch syrup as well.
Oh,
So
yeah,
yes. So like, there's so much. Even me as a herbalist now, there's still so much for me to learn. Like 9 years is really a tiny amount of time to be learning something that's
yeah,
so vast.
yeah.
But every day is a new learning day.
Isn't it great, Janet, though, that you can
Yeah.
do it and that you know all this? I mean, so much of that has been lost. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, my grandmother knew a lot of that stuff,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know,
My
and
grandmother was the same. Yeah.
yeah, and it was a common thing. Like, you know, you went out and you got this stuff in the land, and for instance, if you got stung by a nettle, you had a docket. You knew that the
Yeah.
dockets were going to be somewhere near the nettles, and
Absolutely.
the docket would
Yeah.
take the sting away. You know.
That's the thing. Absolutely. Yeah. And so herbs, they can actually like represent certain parts of the body. So say hawthorn would be for the heart and circulation. So the berries of that are red, you know. So if you think of it, dandelion has the yellow flower. If you use the flower to make an oil, that would actually nourish your joints. It brings sunshine to your joints for
There
people
you
that have
go.
arthritic pain.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you actually start really connecting and looking towards the plants and seeing the colors and the shapes and even the trees, you look at the trees and they look like the lungs, but they do
Yes,
feed us oxygen, you know.
absolutely. It's the truth. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
If you do look at the trees, you know, if the trees had no leaves on them and you saw all the branches and all it looks like what the lungs look like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's about observing. That's what we're taught, just to observe and watch and listen as well,
Yeah.
you know.
But
Um
it's kind of like, you know, dillisk, or what would I call it over here? Like, I suppose
or the
seaweed.
seaweed, is it?
Yeah, dillisk. We always ate dillisk, and I mean, it's full of it's full of iron and iodine.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
remember when I was pregnant with my first, I got a craving for dillisk way before it was time to. But my body was telling me I needed iodine and I needed iron. And when I did
Absolutely.
manage to get the dillisk, oh my God, Janet, I ate it like I had been starving for years, you know.
Yeah.
But then, it settled, everything settled down, and you
Yeah.
know,
It's amazing. Yeah, the
yeah,
body will always tell you what you want and what you need,
yeah.
you know,
If you know how to listen to it,
if you know how to listen to it. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's just what I'm doing. It's just I'm a mother, you know, I have
yeah,
children. I want the best for them. I want them to be healthy and happy. And what I realized then with chemicals as well in stuff, because in my family we all would have had like eczema and psoriasis issues growing up. And I found that in a lot of cases it was to do with what we were using and what we were eating. So, you know, it's looking at all that and just changing it around and feeling
yeah.
a lot cleaner in
Yeah, well,
life.
there's a company over here. It's called Melaleuca, and I have a friend who is a representative, and their scientists there's a whole plethora of scientists that work with this company, and they reckon that the chemicals that are used in the household on a weekly basis is kind of like smoking. It does the same amount of damage as smoking 20 cigarettes a day,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
all your cleaning liquids, all your detergent, your soaps,
Mm,
your toothpaste, everything has chemicals in it. And they reckon
everything.
that, and you don't even think about that when you're,
Well, no, because people don't seem to realize that the skin is actually the largest organ on the body.
yeah,
So that soaks in so much stuff. So even if you're wearing clothes that have been washed in shop bought detergent, it's soaking right in, and it's going into your internal system. So
yeah,
it can affect your hormones, it can affect your lungs. It affects so much more than what people actually realize.
yeah,
And even I do have people coming, and some of them might have breathing problems. I'm like, you're using all these lynxes, it's increasing asthma. They reckon also it can increase cancers as well using these sprays.
yeah,
So there's a whole host of issues there surrounding these chemicals that are in these products.
yeah.
So
And it's kind
yeah,
of even like shampoos,
yes,
shampoos and conditioners
yes,
that you're
yes.
scrubbing into your scalp,
Yeah,
kind of like,
absolutely. I know. Yeah, I've started. I don't make shampoos and conditioners, but I do buy in bases and add my own scents to them. So
okay,
I buy the organic bases, so at least I know what's kind of in them, and I
yeah,
make my own hair oil as well, and from Nettle. So there's I'll always find something to make.
amazing, yeah.
Yeah,
It must give
yeah.
you a great sense of satisfaction, Janet, when you see it and it's put into your jar and you have your label on it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Love it. It's I don't know, when some people say that something gives them a kind of a buzz, that's for me, it's like a therapy.
yeah,
So it's just a really feel good factor for me. And then when I'm in my garden, like, going out in the mornings and getting my herbs to make my herb tea, to have
mm,
my cup of tea in the morning, just that sense of aliveness from it. I
yeah.
can't even explain it. I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah.
Well, I have a great, now that I'm talking to you, this is an idea I have. I don't know whether you'd be interested or not, but at some stage when I bring a group over, I might get you to bring us out for a walk in the
Hmm.
countryside, and we'll do a kind of a herb workshop where you can point out some of the herbs,
Absolutely.
and maybe go
Absolutely.
back then and you might teach people what you do and how you work.
Absolutely.
Do you
Yeah.
do life coaching as well, Janet?
I did years ago. I did it in 2008. I did life coaching.
Yeah.
I don't really practice it. I did at the time, but I was kind of led then to do Reiki,
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah, well, yeah.
everything
So
I've
you're
done,
a
it's
Reiki
kind of just,
master as well. So you're totally in tune with energies, and
yes,
this eases in
yes,
the body and things like that.
yes, yeah, I do have, yeah, people do come to me for treatments. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, yeah, so I do a bit of everything, May.
Yeah, but still it's all good, isn't it, Janet?
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'd love to have you over anyways, absolutely.
Oh, I'd
I'd
love
be happy,
to.
yeah,
Wouldn't
I'd
I
be
love to be able to
delighted.
go over?
Yeah,
It's
but no,
time now that
that's
this was kind of
came to an end. Yeah,
came to an
absolutely.
end.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. We're all in good health. That's the main thing.
that's it.
Um, but yeah, definitely, if you're coming over, I would do a herb walk
Yeah,
and
we'll have to organize that.
workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
that would be
anybody,
lovely.
for anyone listening, if anyone is going over to Ireland and you'd like to meet Janet and you'd like to book her to do a workshop or to bring you to anywhere where you'd see all these herbs and everything, Janet, would you be interested in doing that? If people want to
Yeah,
book you
absolutely.
for a couple of hours to learn how to do some of this?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'd be delighted. I'd talk
Yeah.
all day about herbs.
Yeah.
I'd
Or if
be
you wanted to
delighted.
buy
Yeah.
anything from Janet, if you go
Yeah.
on Janet Meade Facebook page, you'd be able to order any of her stuff from there, I
Yeah.
presume,
My
Janet.
work page is actually Mother Mia Herbs, but I'll send you the link, Maya, and you might be able to put
I'd
it
be able to put
underneath.
it down
Yeah.
exactly. That'd be great. And
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what mistake I made, but I did put the link for this Zoom call up somewhere. God
You
only
should.
knows who. how I sent it to Janet, but it went up on Facebook somewhere.
Oh, did it? You probably
It did.
put
I
it
did. I know I
publicly.
posted it somewhere, but I don't know. It obviously it wasn't on your page. So
No, 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 no. I didn't get it at all.
yeah.
But
Yeah, but I put it up. I don't know how the hell that happened, but you know me, scattered, as to stay at home.
yeah.
So Janice,
But,
listen, we're nearly out of time. Would you believe it?
already, that's after
Yeah,
flying.
it
That's
flies,
after
doesn't it?
flying.
But
And
I'm
is it
glad to
what
hear
we're?
about the business and how you're doing so well with it. And it is, it's amazing once you start down that road, all you can learn from it. You'll always be
Oh,
learning.
it's always learning. I'm always getting notions in my head. Oh, I can make that. You know, or I'd
Yeah,
see
yeah,
something on TV, or I'd see something. I'd say, oh, I'm going to try and make that, but make it more natural. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it is. It is. It's great. Really
Yeah,
is good.
and you know what's in it, and you know the benefits of it, and
I know exactly. As I said, I've had skin issues for a lot of my life, you know, really bad sensitivities to face creams. And I was constantly trying new products that everybody tells you is the bee's knees and it's the best thing ever. And I'd always break out from them. So
yeah,
to be able to make my own and to know exactly what goes into it and to know that it's just all natural and it's gentle and it's, you know,
yeah.
it's great. It really is.
Well, brilliant.
And yeah.
Well, tell the family that I said hello and that
I will, of course, May.
yeah, and
It
when
was
I ever
lovely
get home
chatting to you.
again, I'll be talking to them all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to catch up. And
Yeah,
if you have a crew
absolutely.
with you, bring them over and I'll bring them
Love
for
it.
a nice walk somewhere.
We'll organise
Yeah,
that. Well, anyhow,
brilliant.
that's our time up for chatting up the Irish this week. Janet will be. I'll leave her links down below. And this program was sponsored by Secret Ireland Tour. So if anyone wants to come over to Ireland with us in 2022, we would love to have you. Look up our website on www.secretirelandtoursllc.com, and you'd never know, we might even get Janet to bring us around a walk of Athlone and show us some of the fantastic herbs and some of the fantastic places around Athlone. And
Absolutely.
I know that at some stage I'm going to put up, I'm going to organise some sort of a tour to go over to celebrate Baltana, and we'll go up to the hill of Ushnach and celebrate, be part of that celebration there as well,
Yeah,
Janet. So once
yeah.
again, thank you so
Thank
much
you so much.
for joining me. And for anyone there who is interested in Janet's work, just I'm going to put a link for her business down below when I post this, and it will be posted in the next couple of weeks on my Facebook page and my wee me page. That's a tongue twister, Janet.
Tongue twister.
YouTube channel, Rumble channel, and LinkedIn. So you'll be able to see it there, and I will give people notice before it comes up. Thank you very much again for listening,
Thanks a
everybody,
million.
and
Thank you.
hopefully you'll be able to contact Janet if you're interested. It'll be a very unique gift to give to somebody, to do a package of Irish herbal products from Janet Meade. Okay, everybody, thank you very much.